Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, or indeed, if you're new to the channel, welcome along. My name is Andy, the Uncommentator, for episode number 15, I think we're on, or 16, of this Extreme Warfare Revenge series, where we are booking Control Your Narrative. Now you can see there, we are currently on Thursday, the 22nd of May. I'm recording this on the 12th of July, 2025, so a big day, or, well I say a big day, a few big events in real life. So it's the All in Texas event tonight. Also, Saturday night's main event, Evolution tomorrow, so a big weekend for wrestling, for the big two, if you like, in America in particular. But those events will pale into insignificance compared to what's going to take place in this video, because in this video, it's our big monthly May PLE that's not a PLE, and that is, of course, War Without Peace. If you've been following the series, which I know all of you have intrepidly, if that's the right word, probably isn't, then you will know that, as I said, it is the day of the May PLE. So we're very quickly going to run down the card, much like I did at the end of the last video. So we'll do a WWE and just beat you over the head with the same thing over and over again until you get it. So here's the card for War Without Peace, which is going to be taking place in a few moments. So it's going to be Maki Ito taking on Mina Shirakawa, of course, at that match based on the fact that they both have the hots, if you like, for Chris Dickinson. Then we've got Joe Hendry taking on David Finlay. We've got Jake Atlas taking on, excuse me, I've got me taking on Mike Hoff. That'd be a good name for a wrestler, wouldn't it? Mike Hoff. And then, Jake Atlas, though, isn't taking on Mike Hoff. He's taking on Sonny Kiss. Of course, they're fighting over the fact that Sonny Kiss doesn't like the way Jake Atlas represents the LGBTQ, etc., community. We've then got a Texas Death Match between Gable Steveson and Chuck O'Neill as the amateur wrestling versus MMA feud comes to an end. And then finally in the main event, it is Viano 4 and Shark Boy in a no holds barred match, and the loser must unmask. So that is the event. I think it's been built up pretty well if you've been watching the series. Hopefully you will agree with that. But we've got one more day to skip past, because our PLEs that are not PLEs take place on Fridays, of course. Yep, cheers EC3, you seem to tell me that quite a lot. So he told me that on the 19th of May, after telling me on the 12th of May. So presumably then when we get to the 26th of May, he'll tell me again. I guess we'll find out in this video, because we should get there if I get on with it. So here we are on show day, I should say. So this was the last episode of Liberty that we did. So just again building up to the event. I've just gone through the cards, so we don't need to remind ourselves where we're at, because it is event day. Now I'm tempted here actually to, I don't think, I've probably said this before, I certainly maybe did on the previous series I did in this game, where I don't think it actually matters if you do any of these things. It doesn't make your event any better. I don't think it does anyway. But how much does these things cost? Let's have a look. A well-known band, so $60,000 for a well-known band, $30,000 to have the event logo on the ring apron, and $80,000 for pyro. So it costs more for fireworks than it does to hire Metallica, or whoever the well-known band would be. So, interesting. I was thinking about having pyros actually, but I don't know. I can't see. Can you see Viano 4 coming up to a pyro? I don't know. Anyway, let's get with it. We're not going to have any of those things. Let's save a bit of money, because we're struggling for cash. Although hopefully, end of this month we should. Now we've got rid of the graveyards, like we should hopefully be slightly better off in terms of the financial stakes. But anyway, let's not worry too much about that. Let's instead do this go-home show, and it's going to, this go-home angle, I should say, the hype, the free-for-all, whatever we're calling the pre-PLE that's not a PLE action, and it's not going to be a match, it's going to be a random angle. Now, of course, Adam Scherr and Grizzly Redwood have been forming sort of an odd couple tag team. I actually need to make them, I'm going to make them a proper tag team, and I've got a team name, which, yeah, I'm not quite sure if how it's gonna fly. But I haven't set them up yet. I'm gonna do it after this event. So I think we need to. Yeah, so it's gonna be two partners hanging out. So again, they've kind of become a comedy. Hopefully, they're gonna become a. I think I've said this in previous videos. They're gonna become a bit of a comedy duo, like sort of Better Than You, Baby, if you like, that sort of thing, where they're not the backstage segments hopefully funny and kind of engaging. So I've had a few ideas for one, but a bit of a spoiler there. If you've been watching the series, you'll know that Too Tough Tony hasn't debuted yet, so a bit of a spoiler as to what's to come. But let's not worry about that. So yeah, so Adam Scherr and Grizzly Redwood. So I don't know what would happen here. Something like Grizzly would take off one of his, lumberjack shirts and say, hey, say to Adam, hey, try this on. If we're going to be a team, let's start dressing the same. And obviously, because Grizzly's a lot smaller than Adam, he takes his plaid, whatever that is. It plaid? You know what I mean? The traditional lumberjack red square thing. He takes it, puts it on, and of course, because he's a lot bigger, the shirt just rips and falls onto the ground or something like that. And then that's funny. He can't wear the. He's a lot bigger than him, so he rips his shirt when he puts it on. You get the idea. Something like that. Something a bit funny than that. But anyway, that'll be that, and then we're going to kick things off straight away. Put the words in the right order with the opening contest, and it's going to be the Maki Ito versus Mina Shirakawa match that's going to take the opening spot on the card. So it's going to be Maki Ito taking on Mina Shirakawa, as we have already said. And Mina is not going to win this match because Mandy Rose, the of course fellow member of the Blacklist, is going to interfere. So these first two segments, I'll book them and then I'll explain what's going on. So these first two segments are going to sort of merge into one. So Maki Ito by interference, and then Mina is going to attack Mandy. If we can do that, I think we can. We should be able to. Oh no, Maki can attack Mandy, but Mina can't. Okay, we'll see Mina fights both off, but in reality she doesn't fight Maki. But again, I'll explain what's going on when we get to the... build to a future match, why not? It kind of is. I'll explain what's going on... Actually, no, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll change that. We'll edit that out. We'll book it again. That will do. Yeah, I've got an idea. So we'll go for... Let's book the match again. So I've just thought of something. I know I have these videos planned out, but I'm just going to change. Just going to rip up the script at the last minute here, and we'll put that back in. So Maki's still going to win, obviously. Mandy's still going to interfere. As I said, these first two segments are going to roll into one, so this doesn't really matter. But then we're going to have Yuki running for the save. That's what we're going to do. Yuki running for the save, and that's to build up to a future match. And then that match is going to take place now, and it's going to be. And I didn't say this when I ran down the card because this is supposed to be an impromptu match. So it's going to be Mandy Rose taking on Yuki. So they're obviously already in the ring now. Again, if you're watching the series, you'll know that Mandy Rose attacked Yuki with a stiletto heel. She stomped on her head with a stiletto heel and injured her. And she's going to beat her here, but she's going to beat her by Mina Shirakawa interference. So, if you're not following, Mandy's cost Mina's match against Maki. A lot of M's here. But then Mina helps Mandy beat Yuki. That's what happens here. And I'll explain what's going on. No one to say no aftermath. And we'll just keep that one ticking over for now. So, yeah. So as I said, Maki and Mina are fighting over the fact that they both have the hots for Chris Dickinson. So Mina wants to impress Chris Dickinson by beating Maki. So Mandy Rose comes out. So of course Mandy and Mina are both in the... Excuse me, I will fight off these hiccups eventually. Mandy and Mina are both in the Blacklist. So Mandy is in the same stable as Mina, but she comes out and she helps Maki win. Then after the match, Mina gets really annoyed because she wants to impress Chris Dickinson, so she starts attacking. She starts pulling Mandy's hair. They start shoving each other and having a bit of a fight. Then Yuki runs out. So of course Yuki is Mina Shirakawa's ex-tag team partner or tag team partner. I suppose they're unofficially. They are still a tag team, I guess. And then Mandy grabs the mic and says, what did I tell you? What did I tell you a few weeks ago? When people stick their nose in my business, people get hurt. Well, now you're going to get hurt. The referee, come back in here and, we're going to have a match right now. So then Mandy and Yuki start fighting. They then start a match. Mina's on the outside sort of crying. And then as the match is going on, Mandy's like, you know, sort of bullying Mina, but trying to like do it in a way to sort of get her to snap out of it. And then eventually, like, Mandy convinces Mina to help her win. And then yeah, so of course, yeah, Mina was obviously the long-term story is obviously Mina's sort of been brainwashed, and Mandy and Patrick Clark have got a hold over her. But yeah, so Mina helps Mandy win, even though you get the idea. I think you get the idea what's going on. I think I've explained that a little bit. So yeah, and then they all leave. So and then what else can happen? Patrick Clark after the match can come out onto the ramp and say, "Oh yeah, that was great, girls, well done," and then they all just walk off. So yeah, that's one long segment all rolled into two segments rolled into one long segment there. I think if you follow the series, you'll know what I'm talking about, hopefully. Anyway, on to the next match, and that is going to be something a little bit different. It's absolutely tropical here in the UK as I record this, and not that you need to know that, but it is. Anyway, it's Joe Hendry, and he's taking on David Finlay. So the story here is that David Finlay's sort of underestimating Joe Hendry a little bit. Of course, Joe Hendry did his music video, My Shillelagh, to the tune of My Sharona, to help set this match up, and he's actually going to win. So he's going to cause a bit of an upset, because Chris Dickinson, who Mina and Mackie have been fighting over, he's sort of been, you know, giving Joe Hendry some, saying, "Oh great, you know, you're in a good run," you know, sort of. I think people see him as a bit of a comedy act, and we're trying to sort of get away from that. That actually, you know, he is a good wrestler. So he wins cleanly, and then after the match, I don't know if this is going to go down, but I'm going to do it. Finlay has a temper tantrum, not in the Christian 2002, you know, punching the, you know, hand slapping the mat and kicking his feet like a baby. I mean like Bret Hart after the Screwjob kind of tantrum where, you know, he started smashing monitors up and things like that. So he gets annoyed, but like not in a babyish way, if that makes sense. And that is to continue the feud going. Continue the feud going, is that English? Keep the feud going. There we go. Told you it's warm here. Right, next up, another match. And it's the match between Jake Atlas and Sonny Kiss. And Jake Atlas is going to win, but he's going to cheat somehow. I'm not quite sure how. Think of something, but he cheats. No aftermath. Do you know what it will do? We'll have... Yeah, well, no, we'll have that. Sonny Kiss review. Yeah, no, I agree actually. Yeah, babyfaces refusing handshakes not a good thing. So actually, we'll he can play his that doesn't work for him, brother. So he can play his creative control card there, and yeah, that's fine. So we'll pretend that did happen. So, you know, Jake wins, and then he says, "Oh," then he'll you know make it out as if to say, "Well, you know, I'm the better person. I can represent our community better." And Sonny Kiss like knocks his hand away. Says, "No, you're not. You're just a little cheat." And then this next segment, we're gonna have some random. I had some ideas lined up for this, and I forgot what they all are, which is worrying. But again, my brain is frying in this 30+ degree heat. We're not used to that here in England. I can absolutely assure you of that. We're not used to 20+, let alone 30+. So it's going to be insult trading, and it's going to be Adam Scherr and EC3. So what would happen here? EC3 put his headset down, he'd get in the ring and say, "Oh, hey, you all enjoying the show?" And then, you know, maybe they boo him or whatever. He said, "Yeah, I'm enjoying the show. I can't wait. We're so close now to the main event. I can't wait to sit and call the end of Shark Boy. Because by the end of tonight, his mask will be no more." And he starts running down Shark Boy, and Adam Scherr's music hits. He storms to the ring, and then they just start arguing about, you know, Adam Scherr, you know, look what, you know, look how bitter you've become. You know, this was your idea. This was your vision. You wanted people to be you wanted people to come in and be who they want to be, and you're just, you know, you're dictating things, and you're telling Shark Boy can't be, you're trying to make out Shark Boy can't be Shark Boy anymore. You know, everybody loves Shark Boy, and you're trying to take that away from everybody. You know, this is not a, you're doing this for you rather than everybody else. It's just become a, you know, I bought into your vision, and now I'm starting to see a different side of it, and blah blah blah. And then EC3 will like fire back saying, well, you know, yeah, I'm not. Okay, yeah, I haven't wrestled yet, but what about you? You know, when you've been in the ring, you got your ass kicked by, and they'll say something a bit derogatory about Omos, about, you know, he was barely mobile or something like that. Who, you know, you got your ass kicked week after week by someone who had all the agility of an oak tree. And speaking of trees, what you're doing hanging around, you've gone from that to hanging around with this, you know, childlike. I don't know. You can say something about Grizzly Redwood. And then he'll finish off by saying, mind you, you're used to having tag team partners who are a lot smaller than you, aren't you? How is Nicholas, by the way? And hopefully when he says that, everyone will go, ooh, as it's a callback, of course. And then yeah, they just argue, and eventually they simmer down, and EC3 goes back to commentary, and Adam Scherr storms off. Maybe Grizzly Redwood can come out and sort of back him away. But again, that just keeps that tension bubbling over between those two, the founders of the company, if you like. I mean, they're not really, but you get the idea. And then on to the semi-main event. Got 2 matches to go, but 3 segments. So there's going to be another segment to come for the keen mathematicians amongst you, and it's going to be the Texas Death Match, not between Jon Moxley and Adam Page, but between 2 much bigger stars, Gable Steveson and Chuck O'Neill. So this is the final match in the feud. The feud will end here, and I'm going to have Gable Steveson win. And he's going to win cleanly. No aftermath, just to put on a good match. So the heel will get the better of the babyface in this particular rivalry. Right, the semi-main event is going to be an angle, and it's going to be a stable angle. And it's going to be Stable offers work at a spot. I mean, and it says he thinks about it, but it's not going to be quite that. So it's going to be the Blacklist offering Chris Dickinson a spot in the Blacklist. So Patrick Clark will, so the lights will go out, the lights will come back on. Patrick Clark will be stood in the ring. He calls Chris Dickinson to the ring, says, you know, he just wants to chat. Chris Dickinson comes out, and then he obviously he's quite full of anger, wants to attack him. But Patrick Clark says, no, please, just listen to what I've got to say. You've seen what I'm about. You've seen what we stand for. You know, we're not the bad guys here. You know, people want to treat us like the bad guys. We need to stand up for ourselves. So, you know, why don't you join us? Why don't you join the Blacklist? You know, you can. You know Mina's keen. You know Mina's keen on you, and I know you like her too. So why don't you come and join us? And you know, you could have look what I've got. And he talks about, like, you know, his silly throne that he's got, and ostentatious goblet and things like that. And you know, I know you're just like me. And he talks about, maybe alludes to the fact that they both kind of like women. I suppose you get the idea. And then, you know, you're just like me. You're not fooling anybody. So why don't you come and, instead of fighting it, why don't you just embrace it? Embrace who you are. Come and join it. This is what this company's about. You can be yourself. And this is what I'm doing. And this is what you can do. You can enjoy the finer things. You can hang out with Mandy Rose. You can hang out with Mina. And you know, things like that. And then what he can do is he'll do what he did with Mina when he was questioning her the last month. So he puts the mic to he holds the mic to Chris Dickinson's face, then pulls it away before he answers. You know, because he thinks it's obvious Chris Dickinson's about to tell him to go to hell or something like that. So before he does, Patrick Clark pulls the mic away and keeps like laying it on thick, as if to say, like, you know, you can have Mina fan you with palm leaves and things like that. Look, don't answer now. Just promise me one thing. I can see you're angry. So just calm down, go away, and just think about it. Yeah, just think about it. And then the lights go out, the lights come back on, and he's gone. And obviously Chris Dickinson stood in the ring, looking confused. Maybe while the crowd chant "No, no, no," like Daniel Bryan, of course. And then last but not least, the main event of the evening. Will Sharkboy or Viano 4 lose their mask? Now, for some reason, there's no holds barred on here, so I was going to pick a death match, but we'll just do a hardcore match for this one, I think. Because, as I said, no holds barred is not one of the options. So it's Viano 4. I don't know why I'm scrolling. So Viano 4 taking on Sharkboy. As I said, the loser loses their mask. So, of course, EC3 will be laying it on thick on commentary. Maybe trying to interfere. Maybe not. But in the end, Sharkboy overcomes and beats Viano 4. And therefore keeps his mask. And he can celebrate. Why not? I mean, in reality, what would happen after the match is Viano 4 would take his mask off and hopefully get a thank you Viano chant, if that's the thing. Probably not. But, yeah, Sharkboy saves his mask, much to the chagrin, if that's the right word, of EC3. Right, so that is War Without Peace. It was like War and Peace getting through it, but we got there in the end. 21 minutes into the video. Let's get on with it. Still got another show to book after this. Good, that's fine. So Adam Scherr ripping his shirt, obviously helped get him over, which is good. These next two matches are going to suck, but hey ho, it don't matter. Yep, hits a crap missile dropkick, brilliant. Okay, that sucked. This next match is going to be even worse. Yep, 39%, brilliant. Fair enough. Yeah, Shirakawa's stats are not great, to be honest. Even though in real life she's pretty good. Yeah, that was a decent match. I was hoping for better there, actually. This show's going to suck. That was a good match. That was a very good match, actually. Yep, that's fine. Hoping for a little bit better, to be honest. That was a good match. That was a really good match. Something about a blonde guy in WCW. What's he talking about? Stun gun from Gable Seas. There used to be this blonde guy in WCW. Ah, right, yeah. Ah, so it's a Stone Cold Steve Austin reference. Very good. I was hoping that was going to be a little bit better. And the main event will probably not be very good, to be honest. Are we going to move on? There we go. Okay, well, was that the best match? 82%? That was really good, actually. I'm surprised by that, because normally if you put people with whose brawl isn't that good in a hardcore match, it's normally not very good. But that was the complete opposite. That was great. Well, we got there in the end, on an upward curve after the first two matches weren't great, and then the Joe Henge one was a little bit disappointing. Cool, 63%, that's good. We got the 60% that we wanted. And 403 people came to watch that. I hope they were thoroughly entertained. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you don't say. You probably should be. And of course we know about that one. So we're going to get another email about that in a couple of days. Speaking of a couple of days, that is going to be when our next event is. So we're going to be booking one more show in this video, and that is going to be the next episode of Disruption. So let's crack on and do that. Financially, doing pretty well this month, but we need to pay everybody yet, so that will go down. But yeah, we're doing pretty good at the minute. 64% public image, that is pretty good. And we're bigger than Game Changer Wrestling, and we've got Al Snow in our sights. We're going to win this war. So Higher Valley Wrestling, let's just have a quick look. How big they are. Oh, 97%. Oh, maybe that's a war we're not going to win. Okay. We'll keep going anyway. We'll keep fighting the good fight. Right, CMLL have fallen to cult level. Zenshi has gone to JCW, not Juggalo Championship Wrestling. EO Sky's gone to XPW. Drake Young has gone to XPW. And that's it for now. Right. 63%, that's a shame. We dropped down. Okay, so Disruption Day, and we didn't get an email about from EC3 wanting to work with Chris Dickinson. So that's annoying. He's let himself down there. Right, let's book Disruption, and then I can get out of this sauna that I am currently recording in, because I mean, you don't want to know how... yeah, you don't want to know. Right, so let's get on with it. I'm going to kick things off with... I can't remember how warm it is in here. Oh yeah, I need to... Actually, before I do that, there's just one thing I need to... I need to set up the Adam Scherr Grizzly Redwood tag team. So let me do that. There we go. But another spoiler there of what's to come. So it's going to be Adam Scherr and Grizzly Redwood. I haven't got a name for the finish yet. But the team name I do have, I can only apologise for this one, and it's called Get Trees Hands. So Get Trees Hands. That's what they're going to call it, and we'll call it the wood chipper. I don't know. I don't know. I'll figure something. We'll call it the type name here. There we go. Get Trees Hands. I'm sorry. Right, let's get on with it, because like I said, you don't want the air in here is well, it is what it is. Right, so it's going to be kicking things off with an angle. So we'd start off with the height with the video package, so we can afford to do that. Showing what happened at War Without Peace. And it's going to be a debut angle. And it's going to be a debut attack. But it's not going to be too tough Tony in this debut attack. It's going to be, drumroll please, Jonah. So if you don't know who Jonah is Bronson Reed. So when he was in New Japan, he was called Jonah, and possibly some other promotions as well. But yeah, Jonah is Bronson Reed. So he's debuting here, and he's going to attack Viano 4. So Viano 4 would come out without his mask on, talk about his career, talk about, he plans to... Now he's lost his mask, he's going to, retire soon. He was in a great career, and then EC3 will interrupt him. Obviously I can't book that here, but EC3 will interrupt him and put his headset down, and, stand up, grab a mic, and say, cut his mic, we're not interested, cut his mic off, and then you'd see Viano 4's mic, he's talking, but you won't be able to hear him because his mic's been cut. And then EC3 gets in the ring and just basically runs him down, says, nobody cares, nobody cares about your career, no one even knew who you were before you came here. I gave you a big opportunity, I gave you the chance on a big stage. I gave you the chance to go down in history, the man who ended Shark Boy's career, the man who unmasked Shark Boy, and what do? You let me down. But, moreover than that, you let yourself down, you let Lucha Libre down, and you really lays it on thick. And, if you weren't retiring, I'd fire you anyway. But not before I've done this. And then then somebody gets into the ring, and obviously it's Jonah who then murders him, basically. Well, no, obviously not literally. But yeah, you get the idea. So Jonah debuts by beating up Viano 4 because he let EC3 down. And then we're going to cut to a backstage segment. It's going to be a run-in for late partner save. So, not too tough Tony, it's going to be Chris Dickinson trying to save Joe Hendry from David Finlay and Chase Owens. So when the segment starts, you'd see David Finlay smashing up his locker room or something like that, or doing something. Chase Owens comes up to him, grabs and say, hey, go on, it's one defeat, don't overact, it's one defeat, you can get it, you'll get another match, you can get it back, you can kick his ass twice as hard or something like that next time. In fact, look, there he is, he's there. And then the camera then follows Finlay and Owens, they run down the corridor, they attack Hendry, and then Chris Dickinson runs in, and they flee, but obviously having beaten him up. And then that leads nicely on to this next segment, which is going to be a video package for a stable, and it's the Blacklist. So again, after that segment finished, obviously you see Chris Dickinson there, he'd be annoyed that he didn't save Joe Hendry. And then the screen would kind of glitch out, and the Blacklist would appear, and again, you'd see Patrick Clark sat in his silly gold throne. Mandy and Mina either side of him, again, wearing skimpy attires, and he just cut a little promo, and Chris said, oh, Chris, look, it's just not going well for you at the minute, is it? But, we can make it all better. We can make everything go away. all this bad stuff that's happening, it can all go away if you just join us. And, you know, I know you still need more time to think, but I'll be coming back for my answer soon. And the video just ends. And then we move back to the ring and actually have a wrestling match. And it's going to be a tag team match player. And it's going to be the in-ring official debut of Get Tree's Hands. And no prize for guessing that they're going to be taking on. So it's going to be Get Tree's Hands, so Grizzly Redwood. So it's going to be the Get Tree's Hands Open Challenge, Grizzly Redwood and Adam Scherr. And in fact, I meant to say that actually on the PLE. It's not a PLE, War Without Peace. They would have said something like that. They would have, in one of that backstage segment, would have said, "Oh, you know, we're going to do another open challenge on Disruption." So tune in. And the open challenge is going to be answered by the Hatchet Boys, because you know hatchets chop trees down. So it's going to be Too Tough Tony and Corporal Robinson. And they're going to win, but it's going to be by DQ. So the match wouldn't go very long. And then Too Tough Tony, I mean, if you don't know Too Tough Tony and Corporal Robinson, I don't really know they are, if I'm being honest with you, but I think they're in JCW, the actual Juggalo Championship Wrestling. You know, I think they're basically deathmatch wrestlers, essentially. So so the match wouldn't go very long, and they'd pull out a weapon or something and get DQ'd. Basically, just to keep things going. Have a brawl to the back, why not? And that builds things up for the future. Okay, and then next up we've got, if I look at the right match card, we've got another match. And it is Jake Atlas once again in action against Mac 10 this time. I feel like I've already done this match, but it doesn't matter. Jake Atlas wins. And we give him a clean win this time, but then Sunny Kiss, not happy that he lost. Attacks Jake Atlas, and that keeps that feud going a little bit longer. Then we'll have an interview segment, and it's going to be with a tag team, and it's going to be the newly minted Get Tree's Hands, so Adam Scherr and Grizzly Redwood, and they're going to go off on Corporal Robinson and Too Tough Tony, the Hatchet Boys. So, you know, they'd be saying, "Hey, what the hell happened out there?" And Adam Scherr grab the mic and say, "Oh, you think I'm just out here to have fun? You don't. I'm still the Titan. Oh, you can't come stop a monster among men, but you know the idea. I'm still the Titan. I'm still the monster among men. I'll show you. You know, you want no rules? We'll give you no rules." And then he gives the mic to Grizzly Redwood, and Grizzly will say, "You know, you're gonna get Tree's hands," or something like that. So, yep, that's gonna hype. So they're gonna have another match, basically. And then we're gonna have yet another video package for the Whisper. I feel like I've not done anything with the Whisper. I haven't really got a plan for him at the minute, which is worrying. We'll just say, "Hey, this guy's cool." That's basically what we're doing every week. So a hype video for the Whisper. And then in the main event, this match would have been booked earlier when EC3 was, you know, berating Viano 4, he would have mentioned that this match was taking place in the main event. So it's going to be Shark Boy once again in action against Gable Stevenson this time. So, you know, he would have said, you know, watch Gable Stevenson will get the job done, unlike you, when he would have been berating Viano 4. This video's 34 minutes long, unbelievable. Anyway, Gable Stevenson wins, and he wins because our good friend Jonah interferes. And then we'll say 2-on-1 on Shark Boy, because why not? Because VC3 can just put his headset down and, you know, berate and point, say, you know, come keep beating him up, you know, do this, do that. And that's to build up to a future match. Right, so that is the Fallout Disruption from War Without Peace. Let's go. Good, that was a good segment. Yeah, so Jonah's gimmick was it was Monster, which is the same as Adam Scherr. So I changed it to Bully, I think, or something like that. So that was the right decision, which is good. Yep, that's fine. It could have been better, but could have been worse. That was good. Yep, so, okay, well, again, that could have been worse. Yeah, so they, so I changed it to Tough Tony and Corporal Robinson's gimmick to Violent Drunk. So, I think Too Tough Tony's, when I signed in, was Fun Drunk. So it made sense to change to Violent Drunk. So, yeah, so as they came through, they'd come out, they'd obviously have a bottle of whiskey or something in their hand, which they were clearly, I mean, they wouldn't really have been drinking it, but, you know, well, I say that. Yeah, so they'd have a bottle of whiskey in their hand, and they'd sort of be smashing bottles on the way to the ring. And that's me why they get DQ'd. They grab a bottle of whatever alcohol it is and smash it over Adam Scherr's back or something like that. The match wouldn't go very long anyway, and then it just descended into a big schmoz. That was a good match. Good. See, it's getting him over, this tag team. That's not the point of this tag team. This tag team just to give Adam Scherr something to do. But, hey, why not? Good. And good. That was a really good show, actually. That was really, really good. Just the shame about the lack of effort there. It would have been even better. And I'm sure that segment wasn't great, but apart from that was a really good show. An excellent Fallout edition there. What a bit of a roll. Oh, not an incident. What a bit of a roll at the minute, actually. I'm quite pleased. The way it's going. All right, lots of emails. So we'll go through the emails and we'll see what the incident is, and then we'll end this video because it's going to be 40 minutes by the time this video is ending, and I can't take much more of this temperature. So, CMLL have fired Mascara Magica. Was within the makeup artist. Sounds like they should be. Jose Luis Feliciano is also gone. David Black, don't know who that is. Edgar, yeah, he's gone. Tigre Infant, which was a terrible accent, do apologise. Leonardo Riano. Rhea Ripley's gone to Ollie, because nothing screams Lucha Libre like Rhea Ripley. Natalia's gone to Ollie, insert the same joke. Togi Maccabee, insert the same joke. Jack Claffey, insert the same joke. Jack Claffey is Jack Gallagher, I think. I think I'm right in saying that, so, yeah. Umbrelli. Is that close enough to be funny? Don't know. Texano Jr. has gone to Ollie. Bully Ray has gone from CMLL. Has gone to CMLL from Ollie. And again, insert the Lucha Libre joke. Will Ospreay's gone to CMLL. Raven's gone to CMLL. Why not? Shane Douglas to CMLL. Roosh to CMLL. I thought they dropped. I thought they reduced size, not gone up. Why are they hiring a load of people? K-Dog has gone to CMLL. Tetsuya Naito has gone to CMLL and left Ollie. Sammy Callahan. I think you know the joke by now. Sammy Collihan. Yeah, move on. 188 people turned up for Disruption, so that's pretty good. Yep, all good stuff. Right, what's the incident going to be? Is it going to be an injury? Is it going to be somebody criticising the company? Let's see. Nope, CCW offered me a job. Okay, fair enough. They must be impressed by this great storytelling that I'm doing. Yeah, it's just Mandy Rose not wearing a lot of clothes. It's not exactly great storytelling, but that's nice. Thank you. Right, DJ Hyde would like to offer me a job. We're regional at the moment, so they're smaller than well, the same size, aren't they? And I'm well in debt, so I'm going to reject that offer. It's nice. It's nice to get it. I'm going to reject that offer. We're the same, actually. Regional 65%. The only difference is we've got money and they haven't. That's basically, yeah, we're one. Yeah. Should I have taken that offer? No, I shouldn't have done. But let's see. Who would I have had to work with if I had taken that offer? Yeah, risk 70. No. Yeah, AR Fox. Okay, Big Damo. Fired him, so maybe a good idea that I didn't take that job. Yep, CW Anderson, CZW Anderson. I think I made that joke. Jervis Cotton. Excuse me, Jervis Cottonbelly. We still have him. Akushi. Joey. Yeah, move on. Jace Robinson. Juice Robinson, even. We've got his tag team partner. Carl Fredericks. Yeah, don't know who that guy is. Don't know who that is. Don't know who that is. I know who that is. No, that is definitely Pagano. WWE's finest. Ricky Mandel. I mean, the roster's slightly... roster's got a few more bigger names, but no. I'm quite happy where we're at. Quite happy where I'm at, I should say, and quite happy where we're going, because we've got the violent drunk hatchet boys on the roster, so how can you not be happy? Anyway, as we're about to tick over to the 40-minute mark, and I'm about to pass out from heat stroke, I think it's a good time to end this video. So if you did enjoy this video, then please like and share the video. You can also leave a comment on the video, should you choose to do that. While you're here on YouTube, if you head on over to the channel, The Uncommentator, you will find the rest of the videos in this playlist. So if any of the storylines I'm talking about make absolutely no sense whatsoever, don't remember to my voice then you can go and work out how we got to this point by watching an old episode of the series. Also, if you like wrestling and you go over to the channel, you will find plenty of other wrestling content, including a previous series where I booked PWG on an older version of this game. Also, I have played through WWE Crush Hour, which is kind of like wrestling, I suppose. So please go and check that out. If you don't like wrestling, then I'm not quite sure why you are watching this video, but if that is the case, then there is plenty of non-wrestling related content for you to enjoy. Too much to list, so I'm not going to do that. But next time, we're going to be moving on. We're going to be heading into the month of June, so we're halfway through the year, and start the build to our next event, which I don't know what it's going to be called or when it's going to be. But till at that point, for now, from me, it is sayonara.